Bust down my shooter, saw my wires, then a bomb diffuser. Take a jet to the jungle, was healing my soul.
Best days. Love Sundays.
Cool, man.
You're at the Air Force?
Yeah, I had my Air Force kids, put them through a workout. I did a little bit of running with them as well, mine as well. You know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, cutting weight for a fight, so I did a little bit of extra training with them. And then I had an open mat. I have a gym in my basement, so every Sunday I have people over. We do open mat train, so it was a good time.
Okay, cool. Just some of your boys, or who's coming over?
Yeah, it's really open to anybody, but yeah, a lot of my training partners come down usually, and then we usually do like I have yoga at 10, 11 we do open mat, and then at 12 we do some kickboxing. So I didn't do any kickboxing just because I don't want to risk getting hit or anything like that right now. But started to it, but I did some rolling and yoga and went for a good run. So got some good training in on a Sunday.
For sure.
You been watching any tape on him? On Jose?
My opponent? Oh yeah. What I usually do is I watch tape kind of early on in my fight camp. So like as soon as I get my opponent, I'll watch like everything I can on him. And then I kind of not forget them, but like I see what I need to work on, and then I kind of just don't worry. I don't really worry about it because I don't like to like obsess over what the person's going to do, because sometimes you fight somebody and they come out and they switch stance, they do something completely different. You don't want to be like so like in your head about this is what it's going to be like, and then you get there and they don't feel like that. So I saw the things I needed to see, and so I haven't really watched film on it in the last couple probably month, honestly.
Oh damn. Okay, cool. Yeah. All right, well, I guess we'll start with a quick introduction. My name's Cam. This is Lennon here. If you want to give a quick introduction, just introduce yourself to everyone, kind of tell them what's going on.
Yeah. My name's Connor Matthews. I'm a featherweight, second UFC fight coming up here. I'm fighting Jose Delgado on February 15th.
Awesome.
What does a day look like for you at the Air Force?
Oh, in the military? So I'm actually out of the Air Force now. I still work for the Air Force, but I am not currently in the Air Force. So I train candidates that are coming into the Air Force. So my job is, I'm called a developer. And so basically, in the Air Force, when I was active duty, I did a job called combat control. That's why my nickname is the controller. So we're special operations, but we're air traffic control certified. And our job is basically to do anything from air to ground. So we attach to like special forces teams or like a SEAL team or something. And our job is basically to call in the airstrikes or anything to do with air to ground, like the radio guy. So it was a cool job, really fun. You get to do a lot of cool stuff. You got to go skydiving, tactics.
Yeah, I just saw that on your Instagram a couple minutes ago. Yeah.
Yeah. So scuba dive. I did it all. Traveled the country. And so my job now is, as I work for the Air Force, my job is to administer like the PT test for guys coming in, and I kind of mentor and I program and write programs and help candidates that are coming in, kind of like a coach. I also teach the water portions where like they have to do water confidence stuff like underwaters and all sorts of stuff. So yeah, that's my job. I love it. Great job.
Yeah, that's kind of sick. How long have you been doing that for?
So I started working for about only a little over a year now, so not too long doing that part of the job. Before, when I first got out of the Air Force, I was just working and I was doing privates and like teaching. I had a gym for a little while. That's why I have a gym in my basement. I actually was renting space for a while, and after the pandemic, the CrossFit gym that I was renting from shut down, so it kind of screwed me over. So I ended up moved all my stuff to my parents' house in the basement. And that's why I have a full-on UFC gym in my basement. I got like an Octagon.
I was just gonna say, if you have an Octagon, damn, that's actually cool.
It's badass. I love it, man. And so we call it Mom's Basement MMA.
Oh, sick. There you go. That works out.
It's awesome.
How'd you kind of get into doing like military Air Force kind of stuff, or like you started in Air Force? Like that was the first division that you did, or?
So what happened is when I graduated, I was actually a hockey player growing up. That was like my main thing. I'm
excited to get into that actually. So
yeah. So actually, I'm gonna go hang out with my friend Jacob Lacko. He played for the Boston Bruins last year. They played for the Minnesota Wild, and he's in town playing the Bruins right on Tuesday. So I'm gonna go train with him. He's gonna come do some jiu-jitsu with him tomorrow. But anyways, I was a hockey player originally. That was my main life goal, and my senior year, my last game of my high school hockey season, I got hurt. And I've always done martial arts. I was always training, but I decided to take a fight because I was like, kind of messed up my whole dreams of being a professional hockey player and doing all that thing. So I kind of just like got into fighting. And next thing you know, I took a fight when I turned 18, and I just kind of got addicted to that. So after I graduated high school, I stayed around Boston. I trained for like 2 years. Eventually, my parents were like, "All right, man, you're not going to go to college. You're like, what's your plan?" You know what I mean? They kind of getting on my back about stuff. So that's where I looked into the military. And originally, I wanted to be like a Navy SEAL, but then I found out about combat control in the Air Force and their training, and so I did a lot of the similar things, and I looked into that, and that's what I wanted to do. And it did 6 years as a combat controller. Being a controller is the pipeline and the training to become a combat controller is pretty rigorous, pretty tough. It's like a 95% attrition rate, so it means like we started with like 100 and something people. We only ended up with like 6 of us actually made it to the training.
Damn,
so
that's crazy.
I learned a lot about myself, like mentally, physically. You know, I learned a lot of perseverance. Learned a lot of things that kind of like made me the fighter I am today. So after I got done with that, I got deployed to Afghanistan. I came back from Afghanistan, and I was kind of like a little bit messed up a little bit from like PTSD or whatever you want to call it. I don't think it was like really PTSD, but I just wasn't myself.
Yeah.
And so I just started training to kind of help me with my mental, and I got addicted back to the sport, and one thing and that thing ended up 5 years later, 4 years later, whatever it was, ended up making it to the UFC. So it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's cool. Go ahead. Now you got it.
Where's your favorite place that you've traveled from the military?
From the military, I really liked. I went to Southeast Asia. I thought that was really cool. I'd like to go back and go to Thailand. That's like something I really want to go to. Just go to like do a camp out there or something in Thailand. But yeah, I was down in Malaysia. I thought it was just fun. It was just a great training trip. It wasn't too like serious. Out in the jungles, doing all sorts of cool stuff. So that was a really fun trip for me.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Sick, man.
Where are you guys from?
Sorry?
Where are you guys from?
We're from London, Ontario. We're out in Canada.
Awesome.
So yeah, I was actually just gonna get into the hockey thing a bit more because I played hockey my entire life, and we're both 19 now. I stopped playing hockey probably 2 years ago and switched fully to roller hockey inline. If you've ever heard of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's honestly, in my opinion, so much better than hockey, and I love it. It just takes all the best aspects of hockey out and puts it into a different sport, warmer sport. So
yeah, and you guys just have everybody, all my friends who played ice hockey, who came from inline or roller hockey, whatever. They always had great hands. They always had fast shots, great hands. It's a faster game. Yeah, it must be. So yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, there's a good amount of differences in it. I was gonna ask, how does it work with levels of hockey? Because like here we have like single A, triple A, like double A kind of thing, like, and it kind of like differs from that. Triple A being the best, single A being the worst, and like how does it like minor hockey levels kind of work and where you're from?
So we have a junior A, junior B. So
okay.
So our triple A is probably our equivalent to our junior A. So when I was in high school, I played. Actually, I took a year off of high school. I played juniors, and that's where like they have a good league. We have the Empire, and then you have the EJ. EJ is like the highest level league. Okay. And I played that for a year. So actually, I was on the Empire team because I was still in high school. So I was the captain of the Empire team with like kind of going in between the EJ and the Empire. So I did a year of that, and then a lot of that guys that if you play the EJ, that's when you end up getting drafted and going to going to D1 colleges and all that, and then kind of going that route. You guys have more of a junior. I feel like a lot of Canadians go play juniors more than they go to colleges than you do.
That's pretty much.
They go play in the Ontario Hockey League or the Q. Yeah, a lot of our guys go play D1 college hockey and then from there pop over. So.
Well, I don't know too much about it, but didn't something just change with? Or I don't know if you would know about it, but on our end, on the Canada side of hockey, like something just changed where if you play in the OHL, you're now eligible to leave it and go for a D1 scholarship or something like that. And that never used to be a thing. So like people our age would like go into the OHL and then they would either just age out or you kind of make it to the AHL and NHL after that. So it's kind of like that option, or you just age out and kind of go get a job, go to school, whatever kind of thing like that. But
Yeah, I think that, I mean, that makes sense to me. I mean, that's not really fair for people just because they got paid to go play hockey.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
can't they go to school and, you know what I mean, and not get paid? So I think that makes sense to me that they make that rule because, you know, that's just unfortunate for people that, especially if you're like, hey, I played hockey for a couple of years, maybe I want to just go play D1 and get an education. You know what I mean? Why are you going to take that away from the guys? So at least they can get scholarships out of it. So
instead of
that makes
having
sense to me.
Yeah, instead of having to commit from like OHL or going to school kind of thing, like they would make you choose between that. But yeah, that just got changed, so opens up a lot more doors for other people who are playing OHL and kind of thing like that. So
yeah, for
nice,
hockey, for me, hockey's been like because like being on, you guys could probably relate to me being on teams my whole life. So basically, my whole life I've been on teams. Even though fighting is like the first sport where it's, you know, it's an individual sport, but it's still like pretty close knit, like with your fight teams. And it's like, you know, from playing hockey growing up, playing juniors, AAA, all that stuff, traveling around, doing that. And then I went straight into special operations, which is another team aspect.
Right.
And then now I'm on a fight team, basically. So it's like I've been doing this whole like fight team life my entire life. So it's been a big part of like who I am. So you guys can probably relate to a lot of that stuff.
Yeah, 100%.
Do you think that if you didn't get hurt that you would have ended up pursuing hockey?
I always think about, I think that because of seeing what I've done with fighting and my mentality and what I've done in the special operations, I don't know that I feel like I had a lot more, like I could have tried harder. I could, you know what I mean? Like for hockey, like I could have, like I should, like I kind of I just kind of quit when I was like, I got hurt and I missed my opportunity and that's it. And I saw my friends going to school, colleges, and I saw all this stuff, and I just like, instead of like going back and training hard and just working hard and taking a year off and figuring out how to get there, I kind of gave up. Yeah. So yes, I think but I was a good hockey player. I really do think I could have gone somewhere with it, but you know, things happen for a reason, and I'm not upset, and I really like, you know, where it's led me to today. So, you know, sure. I definitely, I love hockey. It'll always be a big part of my life, but I'm happy where I'm at too.
What position do you play?
I was a forward, and so left wing and center.
Left wing and center,
though.
I've been a D personally my entire life, so yeah, I prefer to stay at home and hold it down while everyone goes and does their other BS. So yeah, I
think I'm more of like get in the corners kind of guy too. Yeah. I'm not really like I wasn't really a goal scorer, which is kind of against me. I was more of like, you know, grind it out, get the puck out in the corners and pass it, two-way player. So you know, I was thinking maybe I would have been a better D. You know what I mean? Because, you know, it wasn't my job to score. Just didn't have the great. I didn't have the best. I have great hands. Just didn't have the best shot. I was just freaking shooting her into the goalie's fucking basket, dude.
What was your injury, if you don't mind?
Separated shoulder.
And what happened? I was gonna ask that.
Yeah, it was actually a pretty bad AC separation. When I'm cutting weight, you can kind of still see it in my arm, in my shoulder. Yeah. Actually bothered me for a long time, even into fighting. So like a couple of years ago, like my shoulder was hurting so bad that I switched stance. So I was an orthodox, you know, my left hook, and then I switched to a southpaw because I couldn't throw my left hook anymore. Yeah. Which actually ended in the end making me a better fighter.
I was just gonna say that's actually smarter at the end of the day though, because then like they both become like your natural stance, like almost. So it's like you're comfortable 100%. In both of them. So yeah,
100%. And now I love it now, and it's like for me, it's like it opened up the ideas. Like if you think about like it being like a chessboard, you're only playing with half the pieces, right? Now I get both sides, so it definitely changed the whole game for me. So yeah, but then since I got into the UFC, I got stem cells. I don't know if you guys heard about it. So like and I got injected with stem cells, and that my shoulder is like 100%. So now I got my shoulders back and both stance.
Nice,
so
that's cool.
It's been awesome.
I got to get surgery for my shoulder in a couple months.
Dislocated. Shoulders suck, man. They're a long recovery, but you know, once you get through it, do the PT and everything. If you can get stem cells or PRP or something in that'll help out a lot. It helped me out for sure.
Yeah, long in the way.
And yoga. I've been doing a lot of yoga. I feel like yoga has been a big help for me, just opening up my shoulders,
for your shoulder,
stretching and stuff.
Okay. Damn.
Not bad notes.
Going into your Contender Series fights, was there any big difference going in from the first time to the second time in terms of like confidence and just like being there, walking around, honestly, like just the whole arena and stuff?
Yeah, so there's a little bit of there's a little bit of that, a little bit of me going in there for the first time. Like the first time is like, all right, you're basically like, I've never fought in like on that stage in front of Dana White. You know what I mean? I was like, I was watching the Contender Series, and all of a sudden, shit, I'm on it. It was like, so it was a little bit of stage, like stage fright, right?
Yeah, for sure.
The second time, though, then I came back. I changed my camp up completely. I started training with the New England Cartel, which is like Rob Font and Kelvin Cater. Tyson Chartier's the head coach, and so I did a full year camp training with those guys, and that was when I really started training with professional MMA fighters. Before that, I was training at like the gym I grew up in, which when they would have good fighters in there, good UFC fighters, but it wasn't like our style of training wasn't professional. It wasn't like professional
Yeah,
shape.
no, that's
You know
top
what I mean?
notch.
And that changed my game. I just had way more confidence, and just like you said, like then I fought on Dana White's looking for a fight before I went back on the Contender Series. I beat a guy there. I felt great, and then going back onto it. I mean, I even fought from the Contender Series for the second time. I fought a 10-0 kid from Brazil, fronting out of the Fighting Nerds, which is like right now the top 10 in the world.
Kyle
so
in the corner too. I saw that.
Yeah, so I was going into that fight. I was like, this kid's a killer. But I had nothing to lose. You know what I mean? It's like whatever it is, what it is. It's like I had nothing to lose and everything to lose. I was like, it's either I beat this guy or basically my fighting career is done and I'm going to be fighting local shows for the rest of my life. You know what I mean? And I got it done and just brought the guy into deep waters and just kept on taking it down. And so I learned a lot, got a lot of confidence in that fight. But I definitely think the fight I had with Francis Marshall was a tougher fight, and it just made me more mentally tough for that fight. So I was ready to go.
I mean, you've seen how Marshall's played out into the UFC too. Like he's a solid ass fighter for sure.
Yes, Marshall's really tough, man. He's crazy gas tank. He hits super hard that people don't realize how hard he hits, and dude, I don't know if you follow. I'm friends with him. I talk to him every once in a while. He's like running like on every day, like 8 miles, like here and like
His
15 miles.
He's
insane.
He's got to build on him for sure.
And he's a New Jersey wrestler. They have really good wrestling down there in New Jersey. So, and he was a younger kid. Like all my hats. And I had a fight. Like even Dana White after that fight came up to us and was like, that could be any like prelim on any UFC card. Like you guys are savages. Like so. You know what I mean? I impressed him on that night, so I thought that was it was a good showing. I learned a lot.
Yeah,
it wasn't really a big loss to me.
Yeah, that's awesome. You religious by any chance?
No, not really.
No?
I mean, I grew up in Catholic schools up there in New England. But I'm not. It's not that I'm not religious, but I am spiritual. If that makes sense. I especially around fight time, I like hack into like I'm more of like I don't know I meditate. I'm more of like a meditator and listen to like chants, mantras and chants and stuff like that. And I feel like that kind of gets me into the zone more than like a Catholic religious or a Christian religion.
Yeah.
Just kind of for like fun. Is there any dream matchups that you would have in the UFC? Dream
matchups. Bryce Mitchell.
Yeah.
I like Bryce Mitchell, so I've hung out with him. I like him. I'm not that I don't like him, but yeah, I feel like I want the right to wear the camo shorts in the UFC, and me being a veteran, I think I deserve to wear them. So, but that's it. I mean, honestly though, like I don't really have any personal issues with anybody,
right?
Yet. So, but
yeah.
I mean, I'm ready to fight for it's it's our job, you know what I mean? And if they want to fight, I'll fight anybody, man. Anybody they put in front of me, if they pay me enough, I'm down for it.
Yeah, that's sick, man. What are your kind of little touchy subject? What are your thoughts on like the Bryce Mitchell stuff that's like going around right now? Like, did you watch his podcast?
Yeah, I just think I don't know, uneducated maybe, like it's just like, or just he doesn't really know what I don't think he's did the research to really think about if Hitler's again. I think he's just talking. Sometimes people are just talking. He probably does a ton of podcasts. I think I met Bryce. I think he's a good-hearted person. I don't think he's a bad person, to be honest. Like I've talked to the guy. I like him. He's very genuine when he's talking to you. So he's just saying stupid stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Some people
exactly.
it is what it is, man. He's just saying some stupid shit.
Yeah,
We all say some
exactly.
stupid shit. Sometimes you forget you're on a platform.
No, that's exactly.
They,
I was just about to say the same thing.
yeah,
I saw those clips like on another YouTuber, like MMA Guru. We'd like watch a bunch of his MMA stuff, and I was watching his reaction video to it, and he was like showing little clips of the podcast, but he kept playing and pausing it. So I clicked off, went on to Bryce's podcast, and man, like I
yeah,
love Bryce. He's been honestly like top 5 favorite fighters for me. Like since I've started watching UFC, don't even really know why, like just a style or whatever, but. I was watching that and then I was recording myself with some reactions, like just losing my mind at stuff he was saying. I was like,
yeah.
man, like you got to remember who's gonna be seeing this stuff and like who kind of lets what go on the internet and like yeah, it was just terrible.
Yeah.
But
The thing I do respect about Bryce is like when you meet him, he's the same person he is online. So
right,
it's like,
exactly.
you know what I mean? So it's like he's not fake. He's just
No,
authentically
not at all.
who he
Yeah,
is. So it's like
he's just gonna say what he thinks, and sometimes he just lets it
exactly.
go a little too far. But
He's just a kid from Arkansas. You know what I mean?
exactly. Yeah.
You take the camo shorts from him though?
I don't want that kind of. I don't want the woodland camos, but I want some of my military camo shorts. I think that'd be badass.
Yeah, that would actually be sick. I don't know if anyone's done that. Has anyone done that?
Probably
I don't think anyone's done that.
Not yet. Not yet.
Yeah.
They are letting people do custom shorts like at the top levels, so that's pretty cool. So
Yeah, exactly.
Is that just an open thing now? Because before it was like only champions, I think, or like select.
I'm not sure.
Fights.
I think for big cards, they do it for like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Champions and like big, whatever it is. So yeah.
I was going
I don't
through.
know. UFC 300, they did it, but like there was like 4 title fights on that card
exactly,
or something like
yeah.
that. So
Yeah. I was going through your resume and I saw that you have a 9, a 7, and a 12-second KO.
Oh yeah.
Just
Yeah.
That's that's unreal. I didn't follow up on the tape of that. Like, what were those finishes?
Mostly step back right hands. My first, like, especially when I came back from when I got out of the military and I started fighting. I think a couple of those were amateur fights, and then my first pro fight was a 7-second fight. So, yeah, man, I hit hard. I do hit hard. I feel like I got a lot of power in my hands, and so like, especially if I catch somebody as they're coming into me, and I hit them while they're walking in, like
momentum for sure.
I put down quite a few people with those shots. So my first fight though, with my set was a 7-second. Like guy just came, kind of rushed out at me, threw him 1-2, I stepped back, boom, hit him with that right hand, just dropped him.
Like just
and yeah, a couple of those.
Like you said, that was your first MMA fight or pro MMA fight?
That was my first professional fight.
Professional fight. Okay, I see. What organization was that?
I've been knocked out in 4 seconds. So say what you want to say.
What happened there? Was that just
So I went out. I was young. I was like 18. I think it was like my second or third fight.
Oh, okay.
And I was all amped up. And I came out like to touch gloves with the guy in my head, but I kind of came out fast to touch gloves, and I was going to go. And he just threw a 1-2. He didn't even try to touch gloves at all.
Oh my god!
And he threw a 1-2 head kick. Boom. He got booed and everything. You know what I mean? It was like kind of a.
So they kind of knew then. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you got knocked out, but like that makes it a bit better.
I was a bad knockout for me because everybody didn't think I got knocked out. People just thought I got flash rocked. But I don't remember anything from the start of the fight all the way into like the doctors in the back putting the lights in my eyes, and all of a sudden I came to and I'm like, oh shit, that was like my first time, and I was like young.
Yeah, 18.
I was floating around in the universe, and all of a sudden I came back into my brain. It was crazy.
Was that a pro fight or amateur? Sorry.
That was like an amateur fight. That was That was a long time ago. I was like 18. So yeah.
Were you wearing headgear?
Yeah, that's what I was.
No, not in Massachusetts. Basically, there's no rule. There's no difference between amateurs and pros besides the time limit in Massachusetts.
There's not even leg gear either.
No leg gear. No.
Damn,
I did amateurs in Washington State though, and you have the shin pads and everything. And
gloves,
but when I was in Mass, yeah.
What ounce gloves are you?
I think they're like 6-ounce gloves or maybe 8 ounces. 6 ounce. Yeah, dude. It's a fist fight. It was.
Yeah, that's
intense. Yeah, that's literally a fist fight. Damn, bro.
Yeah.
Damn, at 18, that's crazy.
You said you always were trained in MMA. Did you have any like inspirations for it growing up?
So, growing up, I was a traditional martial artist like since I was fucking like 4 or 5 years old. Like I've been doing I did karate, I did American Kempo, and then I did Taekwondo, and then I was doing my Taekwondo school turned into like a MMA school. They started training MMA, and that's where I started doing MMA at a really young age. So like we're doing like first generation jiu-jitsu, and so my sensei would go to Joe Lozon's gym. I don't know if you guys know who that. He fought in the UFC.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so he'd go to Joe Lozon's gym, learn from Joe Lozon, come back, and then teach us. Then eventually I started going with him to Joe Lozon. So that was kind of like my first, like, that's when I got exposed to the UFC. I didn't even know. I didn't really follow the UFC. Like, I didn't even know about, like, Chuck Liddell and all those guys until, I started training. I was already training it before I found out, like, who all those guys were. I didn't even know who Joe Lozon was when I was training at his gym, to be honest.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I was just doing it with my.
How old did you say you were doing that?
I was 16.
16, okay.
15,
yeah. No,
15 or 16, yeah. Yeah, probably 15 was when I started. I wasn't driving yet, so.
Oh.
And then my inspirations though when I started like watching it, it was like UFC 100 was like GSP was my favorite, which I got to meet him and hang out with him, which was really cool.
No way.
And GSP was my favorite fighter probably, and BJ Penn. I liked BJ Penn a lot when I was a kid.
Yeah,
so, but yeah, that was basically it, man. I didn't get into him I didn't even know what the UFC was, and I was already training MMA.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's good though. Yeah. It's just kind of natural instinct to get into fighting then. So,
what's your?
I think the hockey was the biggest thing. Like the hockey mentality applied to martial arts kind of made, you know what I mean? You guys know that like what hockey is like. That's like a different kind of mentality of playing hockey compared to other sports where like you literally get in fights on the ice.
Yeah, I was just gonna say it can literally come down to a fight on the ice. So that's
all
the
time.
Easiest relation right there. So
yeah. So like it's just like when I was hockey players, you go out there and you're like literally trying to I'm getting kicked out of so many games like you're for fighting. Just like, you know what I mean? Like pack mentality with your boys and your kids. That was like a natural thing. I think it was a very natural transition to actual fighting.
Yeah, that's cool. Well, yeah, actually, yeah.
You said you were you did some training, or you've been training with Font and Cater for a year now.
Yeah.
I know that Cater's fighting on your card. Is Font Font's the card after, I think.
Yeah, Font's the card after. So yeah, actually, but Cater's this is the first fight camp that Cater is actually. He's not training with us. He's training up in TriStar. Up in Canada, actually.
Oh,
so
where in Canada?
Montreal.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, Montreal's in Quebec. So Quebec's the province.
So what's his name with the F? Rosari, whatever his name is. That he's a wicked good trainer. He's the what's his name? I can't think of his name. The guy. He was GSP's coach. He was GSP's coach.
Oh shit!
I wouldn't know the name, but that definitely makes more sense.
Something like that. I don't know how to say his name, but great coach. So, anyways, Rob fought his last fight out of there. Rob got a win too, so he's
a great win.
Calvin's doing his fight camp up there as well. So, I trained with him in the beginning of the fight camp when we were like 10 weeks out. You know what I mean? I was sparring and training with those guys back in Mass, but then they moved out there. But we still right now at the cartel, we have a really good group of younger guys coming up, and so the thing with Rob and Calvin, they're a little bit older now, and they just kind of it's just first of all, they've been training at my same coach with Tyson for a lot of years, and eventually you kind of get everything you get out of one coach, you kind of switch up to something new.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then this style, I think it's just the style of training. We're very intense practices every day in and day out because we got a lot of younger guys.
Yeah.
And Rob and Calvin are a little bit older, and they can't keep up that same pace as they used to. Just for recovery wise. Even me, I'm a little bit on the older end. It's hard for me to keep up to that pace unless I'm in camp. So I think that's why they switched it up and went up there. But no, I'm looking forward to seeing them, and when we get there, we're all same team out there, and we're gonna do some work.
Yeah, exactly. What's your relationship with Terrence McKinney? How do you know him?
Terrence McKinney. So he is great. He's good friends with my training partners, Carlos Lazoya.
Okay.
Carlos Lazoya fights out of the cartel. He's got actually 2 titles right now. and local shows. He's been fighting a lot of. He actually fought Sean O'Malley way long back. He was beating him, and they got disqualified for hit him in the back of the head.
Oh, but, no way, man!
Yeah, he was literally
that's his no contest. Then O'Malley's won no contest.
Yes, that's exactly it. Is yes. Yeah.
Damn.
So Terrence and Carlos trained out in Montana. They went to or Northern Idaho. They went to college together, and they wrestled in college together.
Okay.
So Terrence, when I was in the military in Washington State, Terrence would come out and train with me and Carlos every once in a while in Fort Lewis. Damn. And so that's where I met him out there. And then we've always kept in touch and stuff. He made it to the UFC. He's a tough kid. I've seen him at a couple shows and stuff when we in the UFC and stuff. And he's just a nice kid. And he's a beast. He's just funny. He's just a character.
Yeah, I was just gonna say he's a funny guy.
Yeah.
We just had one of ours, as you might know. I don't know, but yeah, he was our first one that we just did a week ago. We just uploaded it a couple days ago. So
awesome. Yeah. He's a character.
Yeah,
for sure.
He's funny. I like him. That was cool. Yeah, and it was huge for him to get that win too. We were absolutely losing our shit yesterday watching that. So yeah, that was a pretty big deal. But
I didn't even realize the fights were on that early. I forgot that they were going to be in at whatever time, 10 a.m. or whatever they started
at 9 or something.
Yeah,
9 for us at least. But yeah, had the alarm set for 7:45. Showered, got up, needed to see it. We were locked in for that. So,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it was cool.
Good stuff. Yeah, I'm happy for him too because he's all first round finishes for him, which is crazy. They had to go out of the second round.
I know. So. I was even asking him stuff like that when we were interviewing him, because he said that he had been doing work on the track and stuff, and I was pushing the questions if you're trying to get your cardio up or whatever. Yeah. And he kind of said yes, but then again we see a first round finish again, so we never haven't gotten to even really see his cardio like that fully. So.
Yeah, it's because Carlos, the kid I trained with, Carlos, his squeeze and his athletic ability is insane. When you train with Terrence, he's so freaking strong. And for Carlos to say Carlos is the toughest kid I know. So Terrence is just an
he said that about
athletic freak. Have you ever seen the videos? I don't know. Have you ever seen the video of Terrence when he was in college and he got arrested? There's some videos online. It's hilarious.
Well, is it the story that
it's the story.
We've seen the videos of him sitting on the fence on the ground.
Yeah.
With everyone standing around him.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I'm so powerful. He's got it.
No, that was crazy shit. Because what did he say? He said something about it literally inspired him to start MMA almost because he was fighting demons and his hallucinations or whatever you want to call it.
Super galactic aliens.
Yeah, and he was beating up these super galactic aliens in his visions and stuff. And yeah, he said that was one of the influences to make the wrestler jump from wrestling to MMA. And I was like, damn, that shit is just awesome.
That's wild. Yeah, that makes sense to me.
That's just crazy.
Good origin story. I love it.
Exactly, man.
Where's your dream venue to fight?
I want to fight in the Garden, TD Garden, in Boston. That's my.
In Boston. Oh, I thought you were saying Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, no, sorry. Yes, TD Garden, our garden in Boston. That's my goal. So, that's this is how I envision. I go in here and I get this win in 2 weeks, and then hopefully the UFC comes back to Boston this summer. They usually come back in they usually come every other year, so it would be this year if they do come back.
Okay, cool.
And hopefully get a fight there. That'd be great for me, and hopefully Rob and Calvin get on that card as well, and just have a whole showdown in Boston. It would be so sick. That
would be sick. Yeah. I'm assuming you've been to TD Garden a whole bunch of times to watch the.
Oh yeah, been there
to watch the shitty Bruins. Yeah. Yeah, I'm a Leafs fan myself.
Oh so. No. Hey, better than a Canadiens fan. So.
I agree. You know what I mean? I strongly agree. So, yeah, that's funny though. So you've been in or around TD Garden your entire life, since you were a kid.
Yeah, I mean, I live 40 minutes south of the city. So, and right now I train
that's not that far,
the city. So I train 20 minutes north. So I drive a ridiculous amount right now, and I'm not looking forward to not doing that in the future. But it's just that's where the good training partners are. So I'm driving through the city, so I'm always going around the Garden, always going in and out of Boston. So yeah, I'm always up there. I've been playing even when I was a kid. I played in between the periods. You do the hockey thing in between the periods.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, always a passion. Always want
to
go
that's
there.
Cool. That's cool. Yeah, I just saw a couple of Vegas players, like Vegas Golden Knights, like they had like a whole bunch of their kids like playing that in between period thing, and
Yeah,
yeah, I was seeing that on Instagram. That's a cool full circle moment for them, I can imagine. So yeah, that's cool,
yeah,
man.
it's cool. I met a bunch of like since I've been in the UFC, I had an opportunity to meet a bunch of like hockey players too for like the LA
Like
Kings, and then
who?
I'm friends with a couple guys from the. Actually, last year I golfed with Jacob Lacko from the Bruins. That's my buddy,
Yeah,
and
sick.
then Marchand
Damn.
and Witherspoon and Calvin
I
Taylor
hate
and Gage.
Marshawn, but again, I'm just a
Yeah,
Leafs
I know
fan. I don't
everybody
know
hates
him
him,
at
but
all or
but
anything, so
he's the man if you hang out with him. Like,
yeah,
yeah,
I
if he's
can
on your
100%
team,
see that.
if he was on your team, you would like him.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, he definitely gives that vibe of type of player where if he's not on your team, you absolutely want to kill him, and if he is, then he's your favorite person. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's cool, man. Any of your friends like that you kind of like grew up with, because you grew up in the area of there, like, and you were playing hockey, like any of your friends kind of make it big in hockey
I,
or keep it going, or
I have had a couple of friends go play in Europe and do the
okay,
whole European thing. And then like a lot of my friends run hockey camps now. That's what they
yeah,
do. They coach and run hockey camps.
yeah, that's cool.
Um, and then yeah, a couple friends play D1 hockey at like Nebraska Omaha. Kid used to live in my house. He played at Nebraska Omaha.
Okay, cool.
And yeah, another kid I played with was Kevin Rooney. Yeah, I played for the New Jersey Devils for a little while. I don't know where he's
Oh,
at
that
now, to be
sounds
honest.
familiar. Okay.
Yeah, me and him played together. So yeah, a couple guys. Charlie Coyle,
Oh,
played
sick.
with
That's
him.
sick.
Yeah. Um, I wasn't on his team, but I played against him a couple times in juniors and stuff. He was nasty.
I
He's
was just
just
gonna
like
say, was he like kind
care.
of always best on the team kind of
Oh
thing
yeah,
then,
no, he
working
was
his
like
way up?
everybody knew that kid was in the NHL when he was like 15.
Damn.
And
I mean, that makes sense. He's insane. So
yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
How much more weight do you got to cut?
So I woke up today at 160, and so I fight at 145, obviously.
Yeah,
So I got
15
like
in a
basically
week.
from here on out, I got like I'll probably try to leave when I go to Vegas on Wednesday. Get down to like under like I want to get to 158 is like my goal for fight
Okay.
week, and then when I start cutting my carbs and stuff and everything, I get underneath 155 is like the goal, and then I'll do my water cut from there.
Are you usually pretty like comfortable with the weight cut and everything? Is it ever a struggle
I yeah,
or like a big
I
struggle?
usually have no problem I've never missed weight. I'm always on weight. So I'm confident in my ability to do it. Obviously dieting always sucks no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm always bitching and complaining the last 2 weeks, but like that just goes with being hungry. It's
Yeah,
what every
exactly.
fighter does. So
Well, what kind of stuff are you eating then when you're on your dieting for weight cut? Like,
so the UFC right now they have these things called icon meals, and they send them to you. They're frozen meals,
oh,
and you just
okay.
heat them up. So, but they're like 400 calories a piece. They're pretty good. They taste great, but it's just like
Like, what kind of food is
not
it?
fulfilling. You know what I mean? Like, so I have 3 of those a day, and then like an apple, banana. You know what I mean?
Most
Big
plain and
dinner.
simple. Big dinner
Yeah,
for real.
yeah,
Damn, I didn't know they were actually doing that. I've never heard of that before. So damn, yeah,
yeah. The best,
that's cool.
great things about the UFC is like all the the pay is not that great for especially for a first contract fighter, but like good things you do get is they get UFC PI Performance Institute.
Yeah.
They have trainers that write your program, so they write my program, and then so I have that. I have
Oh,
a nutritionist. I got a psychological sports whatever sports psychologist, and then I have once you get there, you get massages, PT, all that stuff. So they take care of you, and then obviously the meals they send you. So they take care of you when you're signed, you get a fight camp and all that stuff. But
does that meal plan thing kind of work like X amount of days before you have a fight coming up, or is
so
it?
they if you get scheduled a fight, you get like 8 weeks up
Oh
until your
shit.
fight.
Okay, eight weeks is pretty
And
good,
that
man.
yeah, it's a lot of food. Like you know what I mean. Usually like when I'm outside of it, I really don't need to really start dieting hard until like 4 weeks.
Yeah.
So I'll eat those here and there, and I'll make my own food. But like within 4 weeks, I'm basically on the diet and just dieting, eating that shit. So yeah.
I'm not sure if you actually said it, but what are you actually eating? Like
Yeah,
what
yeah,
is
that's what I was just
Oh,
gonna ask.
So yeah, icon meals are they're just rice and chicken and chicken thighs. They're just frozen.
That would have been my first
flavors
guess,
and stuff.
Makes sense.
It's all like I had today, it was like voodoo chicken they called it, and it was just like spices and peppers and stuff in a small little chicken thing. This beef enchilada one I really like. There's all different kinds of meals. In the morning they have a breakfast burrito. It's called a Titan burrito. It's pretty freaking delicious actually. I like that a lot. And then they add pancakes, frozen pancakes too. So
that's awesome.
Tough.
Yeah.
What's the first thing you'll get day after your fight?
Day after my fight, I'll probably go get a steak and cheese. That's my favorite thing to eat.
Steak and cheese.
Yeah, like a Philly style, mushrooms, onions, lettuce, mayo. My favorite thing.
That's awesome.
Do you have any crazy stories about your military time? Or like,
I had one time I almost fell out of the back of a plane. That's pretty crazy. Yeah. So we were flying from San Francisco or right outside of that, or San Jose or something like that in California, back up to Washington. We did some training missions down there, and we're gonna fly back. And then the pilot, we were flying in a C-130, which is like a cargo plane with like propellers. So we were gonna fly low over the San Francisco bridge so we can like take pictures and look at it. So he's gonna lower the ramp down, and so we can fly low and look at the San Francisco bridge. So we put these things called bailout chutes on, which are like, I don't even know if they really would work, but if you fell out the back, you could bail out, open up a parachute, and hopefully you not die. But I don't even know, like you have to be at like a certain altitude for that to even work. Anyways, we're flying. The guy tells us, "All right, guys, we're gonna open up the ramp." He tells everybody to stand up. So we stand up. We walk to the end, and the ramp is coming down. And then it was like almost all the way down, but not fully. And all of a sudden, the plane just went like that, and everybody in the back of the plane like flew up and like hit the ceiling of the plane. And,
That's some move.
Oh my god!
Like full on the side. I literally grabbed onto it, like I could like see the water below us and the San Francisco Bay. So if I would have fell out, there's like great white sharks and shit.
Holy shit!
Yeah, it was that was like the scariest, like closest to death moment I think I've ever had. It was that.
Holy fuck, man. That's enough to make you never go on a plane again.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, with all the plane crashes and stuff. So it's funny story. One of my coaches, my friend Pete, he hates flying, and there's all these crashes going on. So he's gonna drive from Boston all the way to Las Vegas.
How long is the drive?
How long is that?
I don't know, 2,000 miles, 25 like so. It's like a
5,000.
It's like 48 hours of driving or something like that.
Oh,
something crazy.
Oh my god! Like I hate flights so much. I feel like I would rather take a flight at that point. Like
yeah, 100%. I feel bad. It's like I feel like he's gonna drive there and then he's gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna fly back. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Well, then it's like, how does that work? Like, if he takes his car there, then you gotta
It's gonna be more expensive and take more time to drive.
No, exactly. Yeah, 100%. Because that's X amount of tanks of gas, and then if it's 48 hours of driving, like, well, is it 48 hours? Like, if I were to Google Maps it would be 48 hours,
like,
or is
that's
that
like not sleeping?
Oh my!
You know what I mean?
God.
Yeah. Hotels.
That's terrible. Yeah. So that's like a 3-day trip just to drive.
Yeah, that's awful.
I would not be enjoying my car after that, but.
No.
Alrighty, well, won't keep you for too long. It was a pleasure to have you, and thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah, my pleasure. It was good talking to you guys. Good. We'll do it again in the future.
Yeah, I was just gonna say maybe after your fight, if the result's nice and you're feeling it, then we'll have you back. That would be awesome. Yeah, we'd love to do a little retouch up with you and see what's going on, what your plans are for after that. So
sounds good. Sounds like a plan, bud.
That'd be cool.
Appreciate you guys.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Appreciate it.
You
have a good one,
Take it easy. Later.
There's my man.